everybody. Welcome into the Hop, the craft beer podcast with Gabe and Steven. My name is Steven Humes, here with my boy Gabriel Apria for another episode of Beer Drinking. It is Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to it. I'm really excited about this episode, Gabe.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another great round. This one is not a brewery. Kind of. Not really.
No, it's definitely not.
This is more of a grocery store chain. If you...
Maybe you've heard of it?
I know many people are going to be excited. Many people are going to be mad. And many people are going to be confused. But we're drinking Trader Joe's.
Look,
yeah.
This was an idea I had because I go to Trader Joe's just about every day. And I drink their... And they have a lot of beer that they call a craft beer. It is a craft beer. And it's cheap as hell. And so I drink a lot of it. And we figured, it's this weird Trader Joe's thing. If you've spent any time in there, they have a lot of products that just have their own name on it. And you don't really know where it came from. And the craft beer is especially that case because it's beer that's like, it says it's brewed by like Joseph Brow, right? Because they're Trader Joe's, or like Trader Jose Brewing Company, but like it's really brewed by someone somewhere. And we figured, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's find out why it's $4.99.
Why there's a person in the back just making up fake brewery names. And yeah, why one of the beers for a 6-pack is $4.99. Not that we're complaining, but that's the world we live in.
So this is going to be different. It's going to be something different and something fun. And look, maybe we're letting you in on a deal that you didn't know existed. But when I first came up with this idea, I didn't think we'd be able to do it because I was like, there's no way that the prices are the same in New York as they are here in Los Angeles.
Confirm.
Gabe's confirmed it. This is a nationwide thing, people. Get in on it. Trader Joe's, $4.99 for a 6-pack.
And it's crazy. Like, we're obviously drinking the Trader Joe's beers, but not most of their beers from other brands is also on the cheaper side of things. I mean,
yeah,
it's insane. And it's craft options. They have a whole aisle. If you're on YouTube, you can see behind Steven, that's the craft beer aisle.
Yes, I'm in the craft beer section of Trader Joe's with a lot of brands that you recognize, but some that you haven't, and we're here to drink the ones that you haven't today, a couple of popular options, but I'll lay them all out for you. I've tried a lot of them. So we're going to get into it.
I didn't know Trader Joe's had beer up until 2 weeks ago, so this is all new for me.
Oh,
so if you're new like me, let's hold hands and do this thing together.
They have beer, they have wine. They have wine that they sell for $1.99, and
$2 Chuck, right?
I don't know if it's true, but the rumor I heard is that the guy, it's Charles Shaw Wine, so yes, and the guy apparently, like, I don't know, his wife got the company in the divorce or something, or half of it, so he just lowered the price of the wine a lot so she wouldn't make any money, and it's still $2.99 or $1.99.
That makes it 20 times funnier. I can't believe, I hope that's true.
I hope it's true. Listen, it doesn't matter how good the Chardonnay is if you're cooking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I'll throw a $2 bottle in the pasta sauce.
Trying to feel something.
Yeah. This episode's for those that don't want to spend money. So with that, we're going to dive in. Social media is at the HO Podcast. If you're not with us, get with us. You can find me on there at Shakespeareist. You can find Gabe at Gaberade67. You can engage with us on Twitter, on Insta, on Facebook. We are on YouTube as a video podcast. As Gabe mentioned, you can just search for the Hop, a Craft Beer Podcast, and you can find us, see what we look like, see what the craft beer section of Trader Joe's looks like this week. If you have suggestions for the show this week, if you have suggestions for the show, requests, desires, you can send them to thehopod@gmail.com. And most importantly, wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, Google, She Who Shall Not Be Named, that's owned by Jeff Bezos over at Amazon. I can't say it out loud. If any of those platforms...
I can. Alexa.
Any of those, you can rate and review us if the platform allows you to do that. We would appreciate it. 5 stars would be our rate of choice, but let us know your feedback. It helps us make the show better, and that's what we're always trying to do. And if you've already done that, hey, thanks.
Let us know what brewers to hit up next. Let us know what brewers to repeat. Let us know if there are any other supermarket chains that also sell beer. I swear to God, if we could get a double dry hopped IPA from Stop & Shop, you bet your ass we're going to get our hands on it. I don't think it's real, but maybe it is. Who knows? We're here for you guys.
I would bet like 60% of our listenership doesn't know what Stop & Shop is. All right, let's get newsy.
Beer news.
Is Stop & Shop just a New England thing?
Yes, it is.
Forgive me. Big ass supermarket. Yeah. Moving on.
It's basically Kroger. It's all the same shit. Yeah. Okay. In the world of highlights, there's a can manufacturing company called KJ Can USA. They are building a new plant in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's like a 200,000 square foot plant or something like that. And they are pledging to supply millions of cans to breweries in the Northeast. This is good news. We've talked a lot about the can shortage, so maybe KJ Can Company or whatever can help. Two Roads is releasing a non-alcoholic option.
They're jumping on the wave with everyone else.
They're getting on board, competing with Athletic, which is up the street from them. The CEO of Modern Times has said that we should know the future of their company by, quote, the end of June. The company is going to be sold. The question is to who and what will that person do with it? So hopefully we'll find that out by the end of next month. And
fun.
Yeah. And the Craft Brewers Conference happened last week in Minneapolis. So we're gonna go there for a bit.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna spend some time with the Craft Brewers Conference because there was some news that broke over the week in Minneapolis. The Brewers Association announced the winners of their 2022 Industry Awards. The Industry Awards, we've reported on them before. We reported on the winners last year, but there were 5 people that were recognized at this event. The FX Matt Defense of the Industry Award. This is an award that is named for the owner of FX Matt Brewing Company. It's presented to an individual or company for contributions and efforts in championing the small brewing industry. This year it went to Sam Hendler, who is the co-founder of Jack's Abbey and the president of the Massachusetts Brewers Guild. Yay, Sam. Good work. Thank you for your service to the beer industry. Next up, the Brewers Association Recognition Award is presented each year to an individual or company whose inspiration, enthusiasm, and support have contributed to the craft brewing movement. This year it went to Steve Hindy, founder of Brooklyn Brewery.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
It's going to play a different one for every...
Yeah, I mean, I figured, but also I have a strong connection to Brooklyn, wink, wink. So thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Moving on, the Russell Scherer Award for Innovation. This is an award presented in honor of Winkup Brewing Company's Russell Scherer to an individual or company for their innovative contributions to the brewing industry. This year it went to Carl Oakert. He is the owner of Carl Oakert Brewing Services. He's an industry veteran. He's worked at all kinds of craft breweries, including Deschutes and some other ones. He also worked at Anheuser-Busch and a bunch of things. But now he basically has a consulting firm, is what I gather, and he helps clients, large and small, achieve their goals in the brewing industry through his experience. So shout out to Carl. Yep.
Carl, the man with the plan.
And then the final 2 were the Brewers Association Mentor of the Year Award. That's a new award this year. We talked about it in our last episode. But to say their names again, they are Annette May and Ramon Tamayo. So let's give them a Michael Breen.
Exclamation point!
And for all the winners, our hats are off to you.
Annette, Ramon, and everyone else, well done, well deserved, good job. Speaking of more winners, we now have the winners of the World Beer Cup. This was a huge event. We were definitely looking forward to it, looking forward to all that was going to be happening with it. More than 10,000 entries from 57 countries, recognition in the world's most prestigious professional beer competition. Thing was dope. It was great. Entries were evaluated by an elite panel of 226 judges. Competition judging took place in 18 sessions over 9 days. I still ask the question, how did the judges not get wasted while trying all this beer? How much did they try? Was it just little sips? Was someone chugging? Anyway, that's a story for another day. There are a lot of winners, a lot of categories. We're not going to read them all, but we're going to see what we can do. Right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of USA because of the countries, but I'm seeing winners in Mexico, Canada, Ireland, Taiwan, Australia, Belgium, Italy, USA, Belgium. Like there's so many of them. Great categories, American wheat beer, American style sour, English ale, German style Doppelbock or Elsbach, German style Kolsch. So many to choose from, and there were so many of them. Many of the breweries we have featured have won in some way, shape, or form. They have gold, silver, and bronze. Obviously, right away, I'm looking at Brewery X. We featured them. They won silver in American style IPA for their beer called Super Slap. Hell yeah.
Yeah, the only this is a very, very long list. As Gabe mentioned, there were something like 300 and what is it, like 309 categories or something like that were eventually judged. So it's a very long list of winners. There were more than 10,000 entries, more than almost 2,500 breweries were represented at this event. But the only way I know how to read a list like this is to look out for breweries that stand out to me because they've been on the show or because we just like them. For example, Lawson's Finest Liquids won silver in the wood and barrel-aged strong stout category for their rum barrel-aged Faiston Maple Imperial Stout.
Ooh.
Scrum diddly-umptious.
Lincoln Beer Company, silver. American Style Pilsner for their Mosaic Pilsner. Way to go, guys. You'll be getting your own episode one day because that beer was dope.
AleSmith won for their wee heavy Scotch ale. We were fans of that one. I've seen Sierra Nevada on here. The Lost Abbey is on here.
Russian River, Pizza Port,
Industrial Arts coming in for their wrench. Which
I did want to throw out average number of beers entered per category is 102. Most entered style categories, American style IPA with 384, juicy or hazy IPA with 343, German style Pilsner 254, wood and barrel aged strong stout 237, international Pilsner or international lager 231, and the most countries with the most awards, number 1, USA 252, Canada 14, Germany 11.
And Union Craft Brewing is on here. You remember them?
I do remember them. Yeah,
out of Philly, love it. And ale, what is it? Anderson Valley, the folks from Boonville. lots of our friends on this list.
Speaking of, you said out of Philly, I recently went back to Philly real quick, just for a few days, and I have to say, their beer is so good. Like, I don't know if maybe I didn't know, or maybe I was sleeping on Philly, but my man, Philly's got some dope beer with some dope breweries.
Get hip to Philly, man. I mean, we featured a lot of Philly on this.
Brotherly love, brother.
All right. Treehouse is expanding once again. This is kind of dope. The company is purchasing the Tewksbury Country Club.
Oh, Tewksbury. Hell yeah.
They're purchasing a golf club, a golf course / wedding venue north of Boston.
Dope. That's amazing.
Basically, the company was, I don't know, we were having some trouble because of the pandemic and whatnot, and then they weren't really planning on selling it, but then Treehouse came in and said, we'll take it, and they were like, okay. So, speaking of their plans for this facility, Treehouse said they will, quote, evolve the space into an expansive and inviting beer hall and retail store, while also continuing to operate the golf course and various amenities with the full strength of our brand behind it. So you can go play a round of Treehouse Golf at this place north of Boston, which is dope. And it's adding to their...
Can you play with a Treehouse beer in your hand?
I mean, look.
Because
as long as you got a designated driver for that golf cart.
Exactly. Because... You and I feel like you and I like the driving range more than like playing a round of the real game of golf. However,
I would love to. I just suck at it.
That's the thing. Other thing I was going to say, if we ever went to this, I'd be happy to play around and lose terribly. Who cares? We got beers.
Sure. I could do that all day with a Julius in my hand. Treehouse's current lineup of breweries includes Charlton, Deerfield, and Sandwich, Mass, as well as a farm in Woodstock, Connecticut. We've talked about that. They do spirits and stuff there. So this is adding to their lineup. It's dope. Treehouse continuing to crush it on the beer scene in Massachusetts.
I love that brewery. Their can artwork is quite literally unmatched.
Yeah.
As if we thought Weathered Souls Brewing couldn't get any doper out of San Antonio, they are launching an incubator program. You might know them from Black is Beautiful initiative. They were one of the, if not the creator of it, expanding the recipe, and their logo was on, I think, every single can, despite which brewery is doing it. Yeah. They are launching a program to, quote, help underrepresented groups get traction in the industry. It's described as an immersive program for women and people of color who are outgrowing home brewing and looking to start or expand to a larger scale operation, which is really great because if you listen to the show regularly, you'll know that when we talk about the brewery, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, when we're describing how the brewery came to be, it was some jabroni being a home brewer. So to have a program where you get to start in that field and expand from there is perfect. We love it. Whether it's Souls, again, out of San Antonio, they are going to have an application process. It's going to open in August. Homebrewers will be selected to travel to North Carolina for an immersive mentorship. They're going to be training. They're going to learn brewery maintenance, equipment, how to test it, how to use it, how to do ingredients, all the things, as well as the financial side of things, because it is a business at the end of the day. So look out for that. If you are a home brewer and you fit this criteria and you want to travel to North Carolina and hopefully eventually San Antonio for Weathered Souls, get in up on it. What did I just say? Get in on it.
Get in on it. Get in on it. All right, real quick before we dive into the beer drinking, I just need to get this off my chest.
This week in gross.
It's good to get gross again.
I love margaritas, and we recently had Cinco de Mayo, and the thing is, if you, like me, like margaritas, and you happen to be lucky enough to live in Georgia, New Jersey, Florida, New Mexico, New Jersey, Colorado, Massachusetts, Louisiana, New York, or Illinois, or Las Vegas.
As Las Vegas.
Guess who you can give a call to get your next margarita?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
That's right. Dos Equis themselves, the name you always wanted to see on your margarita. They've decided to get into the spirit-based, ready-to-drink cocktail market with the Dos Equis margarita. Look for the double X's, people. It's out there. Coming at the end of June. That shit gonna be
sugary as hell.
Yes, it is, because their beer is. So I bet they put corn syrup in this shit. Why? Because that's what they do over there at the Dos Equis factory.
It is Dos Equis, but it does say Heineken. So I don't know if Heineken is fronting this or if they bought or
Heineken
own Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Heineken owns Dos Equis. They do.
That makes sense. So they're the reason they recasted that old dude in those commercials. Those bastards.
Yeah. Heineken owns them, which is why anytime a Heineken product comes up, I get to play that man. Now, I will say there is no Dos Equis beer in the damn thing, which was my first fear when I read it initially. I was afraid there was like some kind of beer Rita situation coming out that with Dos Equis and corn syrup and tequila.
This is made with just straight Blanco tequila, lime juice, and natural flavors.
It's just something nobody asked for, is the thing. Like, if you want a ready-to-drink canned margarita, that's fine. Just grab Cutwater or, On the Rocks. There are plenty of options for you that do not involve the Dos Equis man.
It also says it's only 10% ABV. Is that low? Isn't that low for a margarita?
I mean, no. It would be low for tequila, but I think it's it's a can mixed. In this
case, it's a small, slender can.
12-ounce can.
The colors are kind of cool and poppin'. They tried to get that agave leaf on there, and that's fun and exciting. But yeah, you see Dos Equis, and I don't know if you're like me or Steven, but we immediately just go, ooh.
Yeah, look, we gave them a fair shake. Cinco de Mayo, the first year we tried to drink Dos Equis with a song in our hearts. And then we read that they put corn syrup in their beer, and we got really pissed off. And they've just been on a shit list that ever since.
I don't know why we gave them a fair shake. Just got me. Just that expression.
We were trying to be inclusive, and then
we gave them a shot. We were honest, and I think I think you had the regular Dos Equis, and I had like the amber one or something like that.
Yeah,
or the red version. I don't know.
The amber. All right. Well, speaking of giving people a fair shake, let's go to Trader Joe's.
Let's go grocery shopping.
Yes, indeed. All right. I'm going to read a poem, and it's about Trader Joe's, but I just want to say, I want to dedicate this to some very specific products that I can't live without in my life.
If you start shouting out like Cliff Bars, I'm going to walk off this podcast.
No, this is a Trader Joe's themed thing, and I'm going to shout out to... Listen, if you know, you know, okay? So this toast is dedicated to the orange chicken. It's dedicated to the unexpected cheddar cheese. It's dedicated to the $2 wine. It's dedicated to chicken fried rice, the multigrain veggie medley, Speckaloos, the gyoza pot stickers, and the garlic naan crackers. Those are the ones I've chosen to highlight today. There are more. Here we go. This poem is called An Ode to Trader Joe's, and it's written by some lady with a blog. Trader Joe's. Oh, Trader Joe's. Pretty flowers and choco O's. Veggies and fruits fresh from the dirt, and people in cool Hawaiian shirts. Amazing wines and special finds for all mankind. Trader Joe's, oh Trader Joe's, thank you for taking care of my dinner woes. Even if I walk in feeling a little crappy, I always walk out with a heart full of happy.
I thought you were going to say, I always walk out with a bag full of snackies, and I was going to flip this table over.
I mean, what it is wasn't much better.
Another thing to add to your Trader Joe's list that I ended up eating the other day, I think it's Argentinian flavored shrimp, spiced shrimp. It's in that section. It's shrimp. It's in the sealed thing. It's Argentinian spices. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, dude, I could go on for days. Carne asada. They got a lemon spatchcock chicken that's like a whole chicken that's like really ridiculously cheap. They got I could go on for days.
They got a lot of organic shit, but hey, it tastes good.
I hate those, you know, when you have to do those like icebreakers when you're in like new groups of people and everybody like go around and say a fun fact. One of the most genius things I've ever heard was this one show I was doing. The stage manager made everyone go around and say what Trader Joe's item is their favorite. And it's like so relatable. Everybody has the one. We all have one. Especially if you live in California and you go every day like I do. So with that, we're going to drink their cheap beer.
Let's drink some TJs.
All right. The first one that we have reached for is actually one of my favorite ones because it's hard to mess this style up to me. It's the Drive-Thru Red. It's a dry hopped red ale. It comes in at 7.2% ABV. The IBUs are at 42. Untapped has it at 3.29. Beer Advocate has it at 78. And it's a red ale. So I love it because I inherently love a red ale. It looks like one. SRM chart, we're in the 20s, which is one of the best places to be, probably around a 21 or 2-ish.
Yeah, looks good. It's that solid amber wooden color. We love a good red ale. We may say it many times. They got a dope car on the front. Old Volkswagen bus looks like from the 70s. How could you go wrong? We're very excited for this one.
So it's also 7.2%. I feel like that is worth noting that, red ales sometimes tend to be more in the 5-6 range. So it's got a good punch to it. This one is $5.99 for a 6-pack for anybody keeping score. So you're going to spend up a little on this one. You're going to spend that extra $1.
God, if we gave prices every time we had to buy this.
No, we're giving the prices today because
for today. That's what I mean. Like if we had to do it for every episode, it'd be scary. But today, we'll tell you what the prices are because you can go get the beers.
It's important that we note this. From the bottle, inspired by the majestic Drive-Thru chandelier giant sequoia tree, our Drive-Thru red ale is layered with a rich malty body and dry hopped with noble Tetnang hops. It actually says Tetang, but they mean Tetnang.
That's a spelling error.
Yeah, you're gonna need to fix that, Trader Joe's. It claims to be brewed by Joseph Brow Brewing Company out of San Jose. It's actually brewed by a company called Gordon Biersch Brewing, which is out of San Jose, California. We can talk about them in a bit, but
yeah, that was the one thing that was a little interesting to read about. Most of they are the Trader Joe's beer brand, but they have help. They contract brew. They have other breweries coming in and helping out and whatnot. So it's interesting.
They have small breweries that do the contract brewing, and then those breweries are not named on the beer. I mean, like in this case. I mean, seriously, it says brewed and bottled by Joseph Brow Brewing Company, which is not a real company. It's a misnomer for the actual company that brews it. So
I thought it was just Trader Joe's and they were just making a pun.
It is, but that's what I mean. Like they call it's in very small letters and it's there to say like this is brewed and bottled at Joseph Brow Brewing, quote unquote, but it's actually Gordon Biersch. And if you go to Gordon Biersch's website, there's no mention of the Trader Joe's beers that they brew. So it's a weird
they signed
situation.
That NDA? Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's bizarre. That's why we're doing this. We're trying to get to the bottom of this. But
great head retention when you first pour it, about a centimeter bit of, I would say, off-white, kind of leaning more toward the tanner side of things. Little bit of lacing down the sides of the glass. We'll see more as we drink. And it smells like a red ale. Caramel, bready, malty, a little hoppy, I would assume. I would expect, not assume, I would expect because of its 7.2. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, the hops are lightly toasted. There's a lot of sweet caramel in there. There's some grassiness, some earthiness to it, some breadiness to it. It's more floral
like a
than I think.
Bready.
There is more florality that I'm used to in a lot of red ales. There's also something a little bit watery about the smell to me. Maybe apple juice is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I would agree.
But all in all, it's got the things you like to smell on a red ale: the caramel malt, the bread, the grains. Malt forward hops are there, but they're not the star of the show. The way they would be in an IPA. I just think there's something a little bit. I don't know how else to say it. Watery.
Light?
Medicinal isn't the right word, but there's something just different about it. There's something a little, light, and overly sweet on the nose.
Light, different, basic without being too basic, fun, exciting, red.
Definitely red, and it's clear, very, very clear as you mentioned. Yeah. It's that deep oak color.
Oh, love that color.
So let's dive into it. Let's see what $5.99 can buy you 6 of, shall we?
Oh boy. I'm a little nervous.
Okay. This is good to me. It's not great. And I think that's going to be a theme of the day for me. And I'm saying that as somebody who, like I said, I drink these all the time, but I don't dissect them in this way. So now that I'm doing it through the craft beer lens, I will say that it definitely follows through on all the things that you expect a red ale to follow to do for you. It begins with a very bready, malty taste, a lot of caramel, and sort of almost burnt sugar. There's some fruity citrusiness behind that, some like light tangerine, some orange. The back end has a bitter bite. The hops come through in that way. It's not dank, but it is a biting quality on the back end that's quite bitter and lingers in the mouth. It leaves your mouth feeling pretty bitter. Mouthfeel wise, I think it's surprisingly thick for a red ale. I think it's moderately to high carbonated, and it's good. But the thing is that I think I like this beer for what it is. It's $5.99. I'm just going to keep saying that, but this is a decent red ale for $5.99. It's not the best one I've ever had, not by a long shot, but it's not like you drink it and you're like, oh God, like this is solid.
This will work. This will get you through your day. I would agree on all of that. I never thought I'd say this, but I think it's the mouthfeel and the taste, it's almost a little too sweet for me. There's something that's just overly sweet about it in the sense of it feels a little manufactured in a way. It feels like it was bought by a big company. And I think that kind of proves itself. However, this is not a bad beer. It's a good, solid beer. It gets the job done. Is it going to make you start a craft beer podcast? No. But if
you're like 115 episodes in, you might
why the hell
throw
not?
One.
Yeah, we got nothing else to do. After work, you need something to relax in. Great way to start a flight. If you're having people over, you got a party. Hey, can I grab a beer? Yep, grab the red ale. Is it the best red ale I've ever had? No. Does it rank amongst others? Yeah, I think it does. I think I don't know what it is that I want to change, but I think it's one step away from being really, really good. Like this is solid. Like Trader Joe's, $4.99 a 6-pack. Hell yeah. And I think it's one or two steps just behind that. I wouldn't know where to start with changing it. Maybe bring the hop taste a little more forward. Maybe bring the malt presence a little bit backward. But that's how I feel. I would agree with this. There's a slight bite in the back. Slight bite. I think the flavors are there. Caramel, all of that. It is very bready, tasting, smelling, sweet bread. Kind of like a fun Irish sourdough or something. I don't know, but a little earthy. I'm here for it. I'm not going to pour this down the drain. I'm going to be a man and finish it because we have a job to do. Damn it.
And yeah, I mean, once we get towards the back end of this episode, I'll talk about all of the Trader Joe's beers that I've had and the options that are there for you if you want to buy a craft beer on the cheap. The thing is, it is craft beer. I want to stress that this is brewed by a small company and it is craft beer. And, Goose Island is not. So in that sense, I would rather support something like this than something like Blue Moon because this is craft beer. I agree. I think saying that there's something manufactured about it is the perfect way to put it. There is something... there's something missing, and it's hard to really explain exactly what it is. But in that world, compared to some of the other ones that they have available, this is a solid one.
Yeah, honestly, it's good. It's a red ale. We love red ale. So
the company that brews it is called, like I said, they're called Gordon Biersch. They just up front, their website has a copyright of 2016. I don't know what is going on there. If they still brew, I don't know what's happening there. But what's interesting is they have their beers listed on there, and they have a Hefeweizen, a Pilsner, a Blonde Bock, and a Marzen. So clearly a very German company. And the closest thing to what we're drinking now would be their Marzen, but their Marzen is 5.8%. It's 18 IBUs. It's brewed with Hallertau hops, not Tettnang. So this is a whole different thing from what they actually do at their brewery. If you go there, the company was founded by Dan Gordon, who opened the place in March of 1997. It is in San Jose, California, as we said. And as of 2016, which was 6 years ago, the brewery claims to operate 24/7 using the highest quality malted barley, two-row, Hallertau hops, and German yeast to ensure, and it's clearly a very German operation.
Very, very German. Lager, wheat beer, Bock, German-style Auburn lager. Ooh, that sounds good.
So this is, and they also operate restaurants. They have a brewery and a restaurant, Gordon Biersch in San Jose. So
dinner and a show. It's
an interesting operation. Dan Gordon is the main guy, and then Dean Biersch was the restaurateur so between the two of them, that makes up Gordon Biersch. They have the brewery, restaurants, and everything. But yeah, they're responsible for this. They haven't updated their website in 6 years. I don't know. That's kind of the whole mystery of Trader Joe's beer in general, is figuring out where it came from.
And it's really great, kind of speedballing off of that. If you know Trader Joe's, they have the beer section. Just looking up articles and interesting facts about Trader Joe's and about the beer labeling. As we said, they work with a lot of breweries, a lot of contract brewing. Right off of an article I'm reading, we're looking at breweries that have a hand in some of their beers. Black Toad Brewing, Kenny Bunkport Brewing out of Maine. Goose
Shipyard,
Island is mentioned. Shipyard, Steinhaus Brewing, which is I think it's another made up one. But at one point in time, Stephen will like this. At one point in time, Firestone Walker was partially responsible for the Mission Street Session Pale Ale. That was also brewed with quote unquote Steinhaus Brewing Company. That contract has since closed, so I don't think it's in effect anymore.
Firestone Walker said, "We got things to do."
Yeah, they were like, "All right, Trader Joe's, you guys go sell your organic nuts. We're gonna go over here." And that was not a knock on Trader Joe's, by the way. I don't want to hear any crap from you guys.
Yeah,
I do like it. I'm not in there every day like Steven, but I have the handful of times I've been in there. I've always just looked around like, wow, they really do have everything.
It has a misnomer, I think, of people think of it, if you don't frequent Trader Joe's, I think people think of it as a Whole Foods type situation. So I just know my mom. I know my mother was guilty of this. Like, she just assumed that everything in there was super pricey. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, no, this is a normal grocery store. It's not pricey at all. It's actually cheaper in a lot of ways.
Exactly. I was just going to say, I would argue it's even cheaper. And I had to learn that the hard way. I thought for sure, I was like, I'm not going to Trader Joe's. Everything's expensive. And then people I was with were like, no. Look up the prices at other places. And I bought groceries the other day. I walked out of there and I was like, okay, that's not too expensive.
The only bitch is if you need something like brand name and then you got to go hit another place. But that's another conversation.
The produce is slacking a little bit, but that's a story for another day.
That's a New York problem, bruh. That is not.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That is not a Trader Joe's problem. That's a New York City problem right there. Move out of New York.
I did. I'm technically don't live in New York City anymore. So,
Okay, we have to move on. We're running long, so we have another beer to do.
This one's going to be interesting because not everyone loves it.
Yeah, I have my thoughts. So here we go. Let's do number 2.
And here she is. Now, it is spelled the Boatswain DIPA Double IPA, but apparently it's pronounced Bosun. Apparently that is the way you say it. It's weird. We don't get it either. Anywho, this is a double IPA. Is also known as the Twin Screw Steamer. Alternate name. Love it.
Sure.
Coming in at 8.4% ABV, 75 IBUs. All right. Now, Beer Advocate gave it a 64. Ruh-roh.
Yikes.
Untappd gave it a 3.04. Whatever. The quote from the brewery can, grocery chain, whatever. Among the Bosun deckhands manning our shelves, Bosun Double IPA is perhaps the hardest worker and most reliable, robust. Brewed exclusively for us by an award-winning craft brewer in Wisconsin, this ale is intensely hoppy with plenty of malt to balance the bitterness. Beyond its bold flavor, it also boasts a bold 8.4% alcohol by volume. You might say it's made for the serious craft beer drinker. Hey, that's us. Or the beer aficionado who's always scanning the horizon for something interesting to imbibe. You know who you are.
Okay, so the Bosun or Boatswain line, they have a double IPA, which is in front of us. They have a single IPA. And they have a hazy IPA. They are all $4.99 for a 6-pack. That's why it's here. This is I need to say, because it is rated 64 on Beer Advocate. I do have thoughts on it, and I can already tell where this is going. But I just want to say up front, this is one of the first times we had an idea for a beer, and I did not have to go buy it. It's literally in my fridge. So
it's pretty epic.
I drink this, and listen, I may be a craft beer snob at times, but I also know a deal when I see one. And if you could spend $4.99 on 6 8.4% beers, if they're okay, you can deal with it. And
honestly, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, most of the reviews I read about this beer were not positive, but I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of like, well, let's see. It's an 8.4% double IPA. Can you get it down without choking or gagging? If the answer is yes, at $4.99 a 6-pack, I don't really know why you wouldn't.
So let's say that in terms of in the glass, it poured with a decent head that I'm going to call a soapy head. It had some retention. It has now receded. Not a whole lot of lacing to speak of. SRM chart, it's higher. I mean, it's not quite as dark as the red ale, but it's close. I mean, it's probably around 18, 19, 20. It's dark, kind of looks like iced tea. It is not hazy. Really.
It's not hazy, but it's also not see-through. I would call it cloudy.
Yeah, I would too. And lots of bubbles coming up from the bottom of the glass, very carbonated. The nose is where the problem starts, and I think that burnt sugar is a good way of putting it. It's got all of the things you expect. It's got the earthiness. It's got the hops. It's very piney. It's less citrus and more piney, dank hops. Mm-hmm. But there's something
factory smell about
soapy about it. Yeah, there's something weird on the nose, and it's hard to put my thumb on exactly what it is. It's something.
There's a little bit of sweetness in the background. There's a little bit of
banana almost. Like it's,
yes, there's something Belgian about it, but not strong enough that it's this is a Belgian beer. It's you're working the line on a factory. You know that metal. You know when you're using an electric drill. And it's just going really fast, and it makes that like factory metal working smell.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I'm getting with banana in the background.
You know what You know what the thing is? It smells more like a Belgian IPA. That's what the thing is. It does not smell like a double IPA. It does not smell like any American IPA I've ever had. It smells more Belgian. There's a yeasty quality to it. There's a spicy quality to it. There's a banana quality to it, and all of those things would be fine if you told me this was a Belgian IPA. When you tell me it's just a West Coast double IPA, that's automatically where my brain goes like, what's happening here? It smells something fermented. I don't know. The nose isn't where I would linger. If you're buying this, I would just move past that.
Just chug it, yeah. I think that's what we should do.
I'm down. Let's
do it. Here we go. Let's see what $4.99 does. Yeah, I would spend $4.99 on this. To be honest, I was expecting worse. This isn't terrible. It's not the best beer I've ever had. It's certainly, you can call it craft, but I think it's lacking. I think it's lazy craft beer, I'll be honest. But I don't know, for this double for $4.99, shit, I'll take it. It does have some form of refreshingness to it. That mine is obviously very cold, so there is something that is refreshing to it. The carbonation is strong and good, and right there on the chin, so to speak. I would say it's a little malty, it's a little hoppy, caramel sweetness kind of comes through. It's kind of like the red ale, only bumped up a little bit more. It tastes like a beer for sure. It doesn't taste not like a beer. It doesn't taste off. It doesn't taste wrong. It just doesn't taste fun or inviting or exciting. It tastes very like, yeah, we did something, you know?
There is a reason that this is in my fridge almost all the time, and it's that it's nothing if not fine. It works. It's got some hop bite to it. It is not citrusy. If you like hazy IPAs, this is not the one for you. They do make a hazy version of this, which I have not tried, but I have heard is pretty good. They also make a single IPA version of this, which is straight trash. It's terrible. Like I bought it because I bought it because sometimes I don't want a double IPA. Sometimes I just want to sing, and I was like, whatever. It's $4.99. It's a single. I'll get the single version. I could barely get through the 6 cans. I was like, I'm done with that. So maybe the hazy one's better. I don't know, but this one is fine. It's got a bitter quality to it. It's more bitter than most. It's got a bubblegum quality to it. I stand by the Belgian thing. I think that it's somewhere between double IPA and Belgian.
There is something very interesting about that, and about how it, like you said, it has a lot of Belgian characteristics.
Yeah, if you're used to a certain kind of double IPA, this is just not going to make you happy, and that's fine. But if you're looking for a deal, the fact of the matter is it's $4.99 for a 6-pack. It's 8.4%. It is drinkable. And
it's not, it doesn't taste terrible. It's not like you go, oh God, all right, just drink it through. No. I could easily sip on this after. I think it's in the same boat as the red. After work, don't want to think about it. Party with friends. Hey, can I grab a beer from the fridge? Yeah, there's some in the bottom shelf.
Yes.
It's this, it's perfect.
I think it's not very well balanced. And I think that's part of the problem. It's very heavy on the bitter, and there's not a lot of sweetness to cut it. There's a balance issue here. It's far from the best double IPA I've ever had, but that's not really the point. I do want to throw out that the company that brews it is called Rhinelander Brewing Company. It used to be called something else. I believe that Rhinelander purchased a brewery known as Minhas Brewing, so you might find it on Beer Advocate under Minhas, Minhas. But it's now Rhinelander Brewing Company. This is a woman-owned company that, as best I can tell, is based in Canada, but they have a Wisconsin company. They bought this space in Wisconsin in, I think, 2017. So, again, same as the other situation. You're not going to find anything about Trader Joe's on Rhinelander's website. And Rhinelander is in tiny, tiny print on the box of the Bosun Double IPA.
The box. And at the end of the day, I mean, it is more on the simpler side. It is more on the, if you're in Trader Joe's and you're buying stuff and you forget you don't have beer in the house, grab that. Perfect. Yeah. Throw it in the cart. Their carts are great. Double-decker carts. Big fan. Lots of room.
Rhinelander last updated their website in 2021, so they're doing better than Gordon Biersch.
So they have a more relatable website at this point. Oh, that's good.
So we'll get to rating these beers later, but first, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. There's not really much artwork to be talked about, but we'll let you have your day in court. So
Bob's here. Bob came in the move. Bob had his own box, and it was perfect.
Bob better have lifted some shit when you moved.
He didn't.
Okay,
lazy bastard.
What a diva. All right, here we go.
Can Art and Crafts.
Can Arts and Crafts for good old Trader Joe's. I wish I had a Trader Joe's bag to hold up. I don't. We recycled because we're good people. Anywho, here we go. Okay, the Drive-Thru red on the bottle. Red and yellow and green. It's got the old-fashioned, like I said, 70s Volkswagen van. If you lived in the 70s or know about it, that's what it is. It's right on there. It's very fun and vibrant. The artwork for this beer, for those of you on YouTube, here it is, was based off of a photo that someone at the brewery took. Basically, it's a giant chandelier tree in the woods with the bus, car, truck, van, whatever you want to call it, underneath it. And that was kind of the inspiration behind the artwork. Got a huge appreciation for that. Popping colors, fun colors. It stands out. It stands alone. It's fun. And I have no complaints. We've got the Bosun Double IPA. The basically just red can, white and goldish font coloring. The font looks very Western and inviting. I kind of like that to a certain degree. It's, you see, I know I've said it many times and Steven's going to roll his eyes, but I'm going to say it anyway. The font reminds me of the same font used in one of my all-time favorite TV shows, Peaky Blinders. So there's a sense of it that I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like when you see the title, when it says Peaky Blinders, I'm pretty sure this is the font they use. So me personally, I have a connection to it. Scores, let's see. I don't know what to give it. I think I want to give the Drive-Thru Red a solid 8. I'm going to give the Bosun a solid 7. They're pretty fun and vibrant. I think if they're standing next to a certain type of beer, they'll stand out. If they are standing next to beers with similar colors, they tend to fade away. Points deducted. I'm sorry. Bob Ross is here. Bob Ross was a bit of a diva. He didn't move a single box, but at the same time, he's our in-house celebrity and he signed a contract, so he probably shouldn't have to lift any boxes. He had his own box and he was happy, and now he's happy. You're happy, right? Yeah, he's happy. That's another great addition to Can Arts and Crafts, baby.
So in terms of other things that they have, all right, so there's a lot of beers that they have and beers that they've had in the past. I will just say, from my experience, there is a Bosun thing called the HLV, the heavy lift vessel. It looks like this, but it's in a white box. It's like 7.2%. It is one of the weirdest beers I've ever had. It's like an IPA, but way maltier. But I really like it. For some reason, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect beer at all. For me, it's one of my go-to ones. Because
interesting.
It has the bite, but it's not as heavy as the double, and it's got a little bit more maltiness, and I think that cuts some of the astringent bitterness that is in these IPAs that we're having now. I mentioned they have a hazy. I mentioned they have a single. It's terrible. Don't buy it. The red ale is a go-to for me as well. If we're rating the two that we had today, definitely red ale over the double, just because the red ale is more approachable. Again, on Beer Advocate, that was like in the 70s, and this one was like a low 60s. So there's that. They have a lager called Simple Times. Price alert, this one is $3.99 for a 6-pack or $6.99 for a 12-pack.
Bang! Exclamation point!
And look, it's 6.2%. It's a lager, a crisp, clean lager, like Anheuser-Busch adjacent, but I haven't tried it personally yet, but how bad could it be?
Why don't more people know about this? I didn't know about any of this up until like 2 weeks ago. Steven straight up was like, yo, can you get to Trader Joe's? I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, they have beer. It's crazy. I'm looking at a Jumping Cow Amber. Price, it says $1.17, but I think that's for a single. But still.
They do sell them singles. They have a variety of styles, like international styles that they go with. They've got a bunch of these Joseph Brau ones, which include a Czech style lager, a Hellerbach, a summer one, a Hefeweizen. So they've got a bunch in that world on the German side.
KBC Blueberry Ale.
Where is she?
Where is she?
I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, I've been deed, I've been died, I've been deed, I've been died.
That will never get old. That's the thing.
It never ever will. They also, on the Mexican side, and I haven't tried these either, so I don't know, but their brand of Trader Jose, they do have a premium lager, which is sort of a Corona-esque situation. They also have, and I'm very interested in it, to be honest with you, they have a dark, like a Trader Jose dark, which looks like a dark Corona, like a amber dark version of Corona. I don't know what to relate that to. But I'm interested.
I feel like that would live in the stout porter family. Maybe.
I don't know that it would. It looks like, I don't know if it's that dark.
Or like
Maybe.
a barley wine? I don't know. But it sounds cool.
Yeah.
The Mission Street Hefeweizen. Fat Weasel
They
Ale.
have a,
American Strong Ale. Ooh.
They have a stout, a Bosun chocolate stout. They've got a bunch. And they are, again, my favorites just because of drinkability to price.
Yeah, you've had them before, so
I've had a few.
Educate.
I haven't had all of them, but the Heavy List Vessel for me is my favorite, along with the Red Ale. The Simple Times Lager, if you're a Budweiser drinker or anything like that, I think that it will be... I can't imagine there's anything wrong with that. And I hear that the Hazy IPA is good, so I'll have to try that at some point.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Trader Joe's is not too far for me. It's a few stops on the subway, but for these prices, I'll ride that ride to glory, and I will get those beers.
There's something to be said for frugal, and in this economy, look, we're not above it at all, and that's why we are an inclusive craft beer podcast. We're not just nerds out here trying to drink. Like, look, we know it's not perfect beer, but it's cheap and fine, and it works, and so, that's what I mean. They don't put corn syrup in it.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
So, yeah.
If it was undrinkable, we would have said it. We would have told 100%. You. We would have been like, waste of an episode, waste of $4.99. But it's not. It's not a waste at any way, shape, or form. This works. It's great. It is what it is. It is used for what it needs. And if you know, you know. And
the single IPA, the blue Bosun, that is trash.
That one you can throw out. Don't buy that one. But get the other ones. It's fine. It's fine. And again, you don't want a Trader Joe's beer? Fine. They got other shit. Mm-hmm. I when I was in there, I saw Sapporo. I think I saw Lagunitas IPA.
They have Lagunitas has their triple IPA in there right now, and it's tempting. It's just that it's $10.99 and some of them are $4.99. So every time I look at it, I'm like, what am I going to walk out of here with? But I'm going to buy that.
I don't know, man. Prices. Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. But I mean, they've got a bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure they had seltzers and like hard kombucha.
Joe's is the best.
We got buffalo chicken dip. We got snacks. We got snacks on snacks on snacks because the trip for me was let's get the beer. And then while we were there, we were like, all right, well, what do we need while we're here? It was perfect. Perfect.
All right. With that, we have very little time, but we're going to get to this real quick. One last thing
we're going to conquer Steven's fears right now.
I don't know about that, but we're going to talk about him.
Last call.
So.
Woof.
This is my nightmare.
I just don't get how this happens.
A California couple came home from a trip. They live in Sacramento, and they live in Redding. They were on a trip to Sacramento. They came home and they discovered hundreds of swallows. Those would be birds. Had apparently flown into the house, down through the chimney, and taken over their home.
Hundreds of birds. That's a problem. One bird in the house is an inconvenience. Hundreds of birds? What?
Burn the house.
What happened?
Burn the house.
What is in your chimney? Did you put birdseed in your chimney?
Their names are Gary and Patty Reitemeyer, and apparently their neighbor had stopped by the house to feed their cat and had told them there appeared to be about 20 birds in the house, which, number one, if you ask me to feed your cat and I get there and there are birds flying around, I don't care if it's one bird or two birds or 20 birds or 100 birds. Your cat's going to starve and I'm making a phone call. Like, I'm not going in. So call someone, but it's not going to be me. And the family pulled up thinking, they were thinking, see, they're better than I am. He's quoted as saying, we were thinking, 20 or so birds, that's no big deal. They're more mature than me. He said, we opened the door and it's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie. He was like, we were ducking and dodging. which
we
already
don't have it. We don't have any bird drops. Like
for good reason. If you were ducking and dodging, you stayed too long. I wouldn't be ducking and dodging. I'd be down the street.
Steven, I could picture Steven opening the door a crack, seeing one feather and being like, nope, closing the door, out of there. I have to say, I think I'd do the same thing. First of all, he said, 20 birds or so. That's no big deal. If you are in a house and there are 20 birds, that's a lot for a house. If you see 20 birds out in a field, you're like, oh my God, look, they're making the V shape. Amazing. It's nature. When you're in your house and there's 20 birds, unless they're in cages and you're feeding them and calling them nicknames, we got a problem on our hands.
And even then, I mean, this is a nightmare. The only way this could be worse than what it is if they said there were hundreds of ostriches in their house. That's the only way I can imagine this being worse.
They would literally get pecked to death. They would literally have died.
He said it's out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and that's exactly how I feel. I mean, apparently they hired ServPro to come clear out the home, which is hilarious to me because isn't ServPro like the people you hire if like your basement's flooded? Like, aren't they like water people?
They got there and they were like, what the hell is that? Damage restoration, cleaning, restoration, construction, water damage, fire damage, mold, storm, construction, commercial, specialty cleaning. They probably got there and they were probably like, what the hell,
That's
man? Seriously,
cleaning.
You're going to pay us extra for this shit.
There's a video of it. I mean, I'm not watching it. I've kind of clicked through it. I won't watch the actual video, but there's a video.
Well, I will say I watched the video. You don't see the bird. It's photos and then it's an interview with the guy. But basically, one of the biggest problems is all the bird shit. They shit on everything and he can't get it out of like his furniture and appliances and stuff. So I think the estimation was like it's going to run them like $20,000 to get everything cleaned and fixed. All the blinds had to get taken out.
Yeah, he's quoted in the article as saying you can't get all that bird stuff out of the furniture. So the furniture's gone, the carpet's gone, the blinds are gone. Everything is
gone.
I'd be moving. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm moving and I'm never having a chimney again. Chimneys are done. I mean, we're done with that.
Or you just light the fire and keep it rolling all day.
While I'm gone? I mean, yeah, that's great. So then if a bird flies in, it toasts to death and we're eating swallow for dinner, that's no better.
I want to know. Better. So the neighbor went over to feed the cat. I want to know what the cat was thinking because don't cats love to like chase birds and stuff? Like it was probably like, oh, where do I start? The
cat was like, I'm good. I ate.
The cat was hiding in the corner like, I'm outnumbered. You're on your own, my man. Where's Mittens? We lost Mittens. It's like dead, pecked in the corner.
This is
hilarious when it's not you. I'll say that.
I mean, I would be moving if I were them. I don't know how
long were they gone?
Like a week.
I don't get it. What made these birds go into this home? Like, did you have food laying around? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. Apparently, there was a similar situation that happened to another family in 2021. These migratory birds, they apparently like to roost with each other, and I don't know if there's just something about inside. There's something like warm about. I don't know what would. I'm not an expert in the psychology of birds, but what I am an expert in is that birds are evil creatures. They're here to destroy us all. They're possibly from another planet and proof of alien life. And if I ever came home and there was one bird in my house, one bird, I would be gone. I would be calling 911. I would be calling landlords. I would be calling whoever. I don't know who's dealing with that, but it's not me.
Steven would be calling me like, Gabe, fuck.
That is, what do you do? What do you do? Because that is a man up situation that I am not prepared for in my life. There's plenty I've had to deal with. And also like roaches, mice, whatever. We've had it. I lived in New York. We've been there.
Yep.
Birds, check the box. I'm out. Bye. Done. Not me.
Oh man. I think I would give literally quite anything to see you walk into your home.
I've been in a house.
Hear something flapping around and go, oh no, we're out.
I've wanted to leave JFK Airport because they have birds flying around there. Okay. Do you know how big JFK Airport is?
They have birds flying around? Why?
They do. It's kind of like, if you've ever been in like a mall, they sometimes have them too. It's so big and like, I don't know. They get in somehow, and once they're in, you can't really get them out.
That's it, yeah.
They have nests in there.
You're like, well, I hope they leave. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't come anywhere near the humans because the place is so big that they're up there, and you just see them flying, and you're like, that's a bird, but we're inside.
Here's the thing. This is very real. This 100% happened. A bird shit on my shoulder the other day. So I've got some views about all of this. Apparently, it's supposed to be good luck, but I'm not with it. I felt something hit my shoulder. I looked. I was like, that's not cool. This is a horrible way to start my day. So,
I mean,
I'm feeling very vulnerable right now. No.
I've had people tell me stories because people love, like, people think it's hilarious. You're afraid of birds. It's like the best. People love to like needle me about that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why. This doesn't seem like an uncommon thing. I've run into plenty of people who have this fear, but whatever. It seems hilarious to certain people. And I've had people tell me stories of like a bird bounced off my head, which like, why? Where are you walking?
What situation? Yeah.
What are you doing wrong? Because a bird would never come that close to my head. It's impossible. If they did, I would duck. I would hit the ground so hard.
You would hit the bird. You'd be like, shit! Just like
I don't know that I would.
An elbow.
I don't know that I would because one of my big fears is like feeling a bird on my hand. Like I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel what it would feel like to touch a bird when I hit it away from my own head. You know, like I don't want the feathers flapping in
They're
my
soft, Steven.
palm area.
They're just soft feathers, and when you go to like some sort of exhibit or some sort of, for people in Connecticut, the Brooksfield festival, whatever that thing is, they have like those bird shows, and they have the people, and they have like an owl, and they're holding it, and they're like, this is Jimmy. He's 180 years old, and he ate a mice earlier. You know,
I went for a walk the other day because I am graduating and I have that kind of time now.
Yay! Wait! Humble brag! Steven's graduating.
Yeah. By the time this drops, I still won't have graduated, but the next one we did. But I went for a walk and I was just walking. It was a nice day in California. It was great, and I'm just walking a way I've never walked before. And I'm walking up the street, and there was just a chicken. And it was not anybody's chicken. It was just a lone chicken. It appeared to be, there was no yard nearby. There was no one watching this chicken. And I walked towards it, and I'm walking, and I'm like, that's a chicken on the sidewalk grazing on this patch of grass. Where the fuck do I live? Where am I? What am I, in the middle of Sao Paulo, Brazil? I'm like in the middle of downtown Los Angeles. What is happening right now? Why is there a rogue chicken in front of me? And then I turned around.
Whose chicken is this?
And I walked the other way. And I looked back at the chicken like 4 times because I couldn't believe I was seeing a chicken in the middle of like downtown Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like it just was so mind-blowing. If I was in like Hawaii, I would get it. But this is
Hawaii?
A metropolitan. Yeah, I think they do. Or if I was in Puerto Rico or the Caribbean or Mexico, if I was somewhere that I thought should have chicken, even if I was in like rural Texas, I would get it. But I'm in the middle of Los Angeles. What is happening? Who's just let a chicken loose? Is anyone paying attention to this chicken? Is anyone going to come collect this chicken at the end of the day? Does this chicken just live here? Can I never walk this way again? So
for you listeners, I love this side of Steven. This is when it really his humor really comes out. So I'm loving all of this. But see, here's the thing. I think I'd do the same thing. Like I think there'd be, I don't know that I'd walk the other direction. I feel like there'd be a small part of me that's just like, okay, let me try to piece this whole thing together. We got a chicken. No one's around. It's clearly not dinner.
I looked back about 4 times, and there was a girl walking towards me on the sidewalk, and I looked back enough that it got to the point where I wanted to look again, but I thought it would be weird because I thought she would think I was looking at her.
Right,
and I wasn't. I was just so startled by the fact that there was a chicken. I just kept being like, it's really a chicken? It's not like a pigeon that I'm imagining is a chicken. This is a chicken?
You just like yell out to her. You're like, heads up, chicken ahead. She's like, what? She
hey,
turns
there's
around.
Chicken
like,
back there.
Hey. Like, oh, shit.
Chicken. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
We have to go. I could talk about the chicken for hours, but we got to go.
I have more questions, but yeah, we got to get out of here.
Trader Joe's, baby.
TJ's.
Look, it's beer on a budget, and it's fine, and I'm really hungry now, and I'm going to go figure out what Trader Joe's food I'm going to pull out of my freezer and throw in a pan and make for myself in 10 minutes.
Product placement. Yeah.
Yeah. Trader Joe's not a sponsor, but they could be if they want to. If you guys hear this episode, I know we kind of shit on some of your beer, but listen, we're big fans. So give us a call.
We're big fans of more than the beer. So
exactly.
Get that shrimp. It's really good.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.